Kovaleski, 2857 Prairie Drive, Lewis Center. After reading all the public participation comments from last month's board meeting, it is quite amusing to read multiple identical form responses, all in resounding support for ridding our district of all those racist Indian images and mascots. It almost conveys the sense that there is widespread support in the community for the nonsense undertaken with the rebranding project, when in actuality, we all know it was one of the angry gender studies students or an angry America-hating activist staff member who went around yelling, screaming, and shaming people into signing a pre-written form and submitting it to the board. Of course, with the threat of being called a racist looming over their head if they didn't comply. My God, didn't you know how utterly insensitive and racist it is to use the word Braves or to have pictures of Indians all over the place? Because everyone knows that the most devious and racist way for the dastardly white man to denigrate those hated Indians and to wipe their existence from the collective memory is to name cities, buildings, sport teams, and schools after them, and to make kids wear clothes with Indian images on them. Please. You people need to go back to the universities with your drum circles and gender, race, whiteness studies classes and keep your insane ideologies far, far away from our children in our school district. I have never seen so much time and effort put forth into so many pseudo-intellectual, nonsensical ideas, parentheses, anti-racism indoctrination for teachers, diversity nonsense 24/7, rebranding images, mascots, socio-emotional pseudoscience forced on our kids, obscene questionnaires given to our children, and the list goes on, end quote, or end parentheses, that are not at all relevant to your mandate of imparting knowledge to our children. Your job has never been the socialization of our children, regardless of what John Dewey and all his progressive acolytes believed. That job is for the parents. It's very simple. You teach our children the 3 R's and non-revisionist history, and we do the rest. It really is that simple. The new mascot at my son's school is a puppy dog. Yay. Actually, it's a German Shepherd. Did you know Hitler had a German Shepherd and her name was Blondie? Do you know how offensive that is to so many people around the world whose families suffered during the Holocaust to have to see a picture of a German Shepherd plastered all over school? On a side note, I can't even put into words how traumatized that poor dog felt going through life with the name Blondie, when it was abundantly clear from all the archival footage and documentation that she self-identified as a male cheetah. What do you wokesters call that? Misgendering or something? You see where this is going, right? You can deconstruct anything and everything you want if you look at it long enough. And that is exactly what these progressive activists are currently doing. It has nothing to do with how the Native Americans feel. The issue is never the issue. It has everything to do with destroying everything that holds a society together. Mascots, statues, traditions, holidays, respect for our history, love of country, reverence for the founding fathers and other historical figures, etc., etc. And once everything has been burnt to the ground, literally and figuratively, they can rebuild society in their distorted utopian vision. The Jacobians tried something similar, and it didn't work out too well for the French people or the Jacobians. I believe a lot of people got significantly shorter during that period. Well, I've run out of comment space, so I'll submit the remaining comments at next month's board meeting. Thank you for your time, comrades. Kurt Kovaleski continued. With regards to opening the schools up full-time without masks or social distancing, parentheses, masks and social distancing are simply nonsense virtue signaling that don't do a darn thing but irreparably damage the psyche of our children, end parentheses, that should have been done long ago. If children are at less risk with COVID than they are with the seasonal flu, are we going to close down schools every cold and flu season? If absolute risk mitigation is the new standard, why in the world would we put our children on a school bus, allow them to participate in sports, ride a bike, allow them out of the house, etc., when the risk to them of injury, death, is much higher from all those activities than the risk of dying from COVID? People have seriously lost their collective minds over the past year, and I wish people would go back to being free-thinking individuals who know what is best for themselves and their family, instead of mindlessly following the ever-changing and frankly schizophrenic mandates put out by the so-called experts. I know the typical retort for such an assertion is, my God, they will spread it to their older family members and teachers. Do you want to kill everyone, you monster? Just for kicks, please provide one instance anywhere in the world where a child has infected their teacher or brought the virus home from school and infected an older at-risk family member? I will be patiently awaiting your response. Jillian Bickley, 6287 Streamside Drive.